Okay, we're still at the temple of Hathor in Dendera. Now we're going to go downstairs and see the two famous light bulbs, or four actually, four light bulbs. But it's best to turn backwards. Okay, we're going to approach the room that has the famous Dendera light bulbs. Whether they were light bulbs or not, of course, is completely up to conjecture. They do look like light bulbs, but were they that, or were they lotus bulbs, or what? So here they are. So two on this side, two on that side.
Yeah.
And also some say that this is depicting a giant holding up the bulb. So you can see he's a lot bigger than the person kneeling. And then some also say this, which is called the Jed pillar, is actually a kind of insulator, as in terms of electricity, or capacitor or something, or insulator protecting the energy from arcing to the ground. Whether that's the case or not, I don't know. So there are two on this side, and then these two as well. And then Stephen Mailer told me that this figure you see, which is part human and part baboon, is holding two knives, and that could be the choice between the positive and the negative, or good and evil. At least that was his interpretation of it. Or beware of what you do with something like technology. It can be used for good, or it can be used for bad.
Okay.
Also, another thing to notice is this piece of stone here is limestone. And you see the fineness of the hieroglyphics as compared to the stones above. So that means that this was taken from an older temple and put into place here. And the only access to this was by the priesthood. The general public were never allowed in a space like that. And that's why it was done underground, because you have to go through a trap door to get to it, and you have to get past the guards to get to it. So this was a very sacred dynastic place.
Oops, sorry. Corey, you want me to take video? You going back up? Yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. So don't ask me what any of the hieroglyphics mean, because I have no idea. There are many, many experts you can consult about what symbols mean. I am interested in ancient mysteries and megaliths, and not necessarily in languages as much.
تمام شيف. شيف حقوق. Come on. Good, chef. Good.
Thank you.
Yes, okay, good.
Okay, still at Dendera, Hathor Temple. Now we're going to go up a staircase, which some believe has been melted with heat, and others say it's simply wear and tear after probably 2,000 plus years. So you have to make up your mind as to what you're seeing. I personally don't believe in the melted staircase theory. Thank you. Very smooth, and again, likely the result of thousands, if not millions of people over the course of time working their way up. So honestly, I think a lot of those people who have made videos stating that the staircase was melted have in fact never been here. And the wear is more in the center than it is on the sides. And most people, of course, would tend to go to the center for climbing up or down.
Just for a second.
So for the first time, allowed to go up to the top level of the ceiling at Dendera, at the Hathor Temple. Notice the size of these giant sandstone slabs.
It's okay now? Really? You don't get into trouble?
So the roof has been closed for about 10 years because an American woman is having her photograph taken, and the photographer said, keep backing up, which she did, and then she fell to her death. So after that, they closed it off and was only recently opened up. And again, if you haven't heard, we are here in October of 2021. COVID restrictions free, mask less. Everything is open to us. We're allowed to explore anything we want. And if you didn't know, these are called keystone cuts. Their function would be to hold the blocks together. In some ancient cultures, they would be made of bronze. In this case, most likely made of wood, because there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of them. Sorry about the wind. Hopefully I was able to take care of that, dampen it down in post-production. It gives you a magnificent view of this entire temple complex. And you see the mud brick walls, which are the outer walls. They are younger than the temple itself. So the temple dates from late dynastic times, likely from the Ptolemaic era, as in Roman occupation. And the mud brick, probably built by a later culture as a fortification to defend the site from possible attack.
This is the famous Dendera Zodiac, and it's not the original, by the way. When Napoleon came to Egypt to discover the secrets of Egypt, he came with a team, and as they got to Dendera Temple, of course it was covered in sand, but they were able to come in here. He had an artist with him that saw this, and he went crazy, and he thought he could make a deal with the English, and he cut the whole square out, and he took it to England, and England said, no, we don't want it. So he ended up giving it to the Louvre. So it's now, the original is now in Paris in the Louvre. But Egypt wanted it back, so what the French did is create another one to look almost like the original, and they did an okay job. But this is basically not the original, but I can still tell you what it means. So, remember when we were downstairs in the age of Capricorn and you saw Tauret, and you can see here is Tauret, and here you see is it's actually Anubis. Anubis is riding something that we call the mare. It's called the plow, right? And the plow in Egypt was considered the beloved. Mare meant the beloved, and it was a tool for opening a path for the flow. It was an irrigation ditch, and it was also a tool for seeding, fertility. And so he's riding the mare to create an electromagnetic current that spirals out from the age of Cancer all the way out to create our perception of time and space. The calendar here starts in the age of Cancer because this is the moment we need to have a tool for measuring time and space again. And so it starts here. Now, as we come out, you're going to see a lot of the figures that we saw in the first Hippostyle Hall downstairs. The one I like to show you is, let's see if we can find Osiris. Here he is, okay? Remember, downstairs, he was taking that first step and looking back. And here you see him, he's taking the first step. He's got basically, it's like a little bird here at his feet. Some people think that's Sirius, but this is Sothis, this is Sirius, just like we saw downstairs. This is the image of Horus with the double crown of Upper and Lower Egypt on the erect lotus pillar. This is Nun, shadowless consciousness. He takes the first step. If you take these line to the center of Tauret's belly, and you take the erect pillar to the center of Tauret's belly, you have a 23.5 degree angle. This first step is when we fall out of balance. This is the falling of the axis. We fall into form. And so he begins the hero's journey in the night cycle, the other direction back into center again, right? So we spiral out. Now what's really fascinating is Anubis is also known as the embalmer, right? So the embalmer was responsible for putting the linens, the mummification linens. But here he is embalming us in an electromagnetic field, the veil of forgetfulness, right? The Earth's magnetic field. This is this is falling into form in a perception of time and space in a container, held within electromagnetic energy. When that falls, when the electromagnetic field falls, game over, we start all over again. Cycle within cycles within cycles.
So is it possible that
Osiris is taking his first step after the cataclysm?
You betcha.
Oh, perfect.
Right on the money.
Perfect symbolism.
Right. Yes.
So that dates how old Osiris is.
Yes, absolutely. Here you
Wow.
see Leo right here. So cataclysm, right?
Right.
There's Leo.
Oh, there's Leo.
Yep.
Okay.
Here you have Sophis, Sirius. That's the matriarchal. This is shadowless consciousness. There's a moment where everything stops spinning. The magnetic field comes down, right? The earth stops spinning. And then we take our first step, we tilt again, and we begin it all over again.
Wow, that is the most profound explanation I've ever heard, Patricia. Wonderful, wonderful job.
Thank you, thank you.
Because who else knows stuff like this? I mean, Stephen Mailer gave a pretty good explanation, but nothing with the clarity and depth of what Patricia has just said. Okay, and once again, now we're going down the other staircase at the Temple of Hathor at Dendera. And again, there are some people who have made YouTube videos stating that something melted the floor. The material is sandstone. It's much more likely that through at least 2,000 years of worshippers coming in and out and up and down, that this is the result of erosion from people having bits of grit at the bottom of their shoes or sandals, and causing the wear especially to be more in the center than on the edges. Now the level of wear here is nothing as compared to the spiral staircase in a previous video, but also I just learned from our geologist Susan Moore that Flinders Petrie, the British archaeologist who I suppose did excavations here, did concrete repair here. So the difference in texture could be the original staircase and the concrete repair work. This obviously is concrete repair work. This is not geopolymer, it's what we call cement. Anyway, just to show you, and here again we have concrete repair work, which some people misguidingly call geopolymer. Anyway, that is my take on this. And a final walk through the Hathor Temple.